All right, it's my favorite time of the week. It's meal prep day. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode. It's your boy Jabril, and today I'm going to show you guys how I do one of my most incredibly favorite meal preps at this point in time. I've done different meal preps, but this by far is probably my most favorite one of all. So, before we get too far ahead, if you guys are new, make sure you hit that sub button and notification button. Throw a comment down below, share this with your friends and family. Let's get started. All right, so this is skirt steak and sweet potatoes. Again, this is my favorite one of all, but the first thing we need to do is the marinade for the steak. And I have here just a big gallon Ziploc, and I'm gonna put everything in here, mix it all up, throw it in the fridge for an hour or so, and then we're gonna start on our sweet potatoes. All right, so first thing is we need to get our steaks out of the package. Now, these are Aldi steaks, so they're a little cheaper, and they're not the best quality. But you know what? It's still meat, still beef, and it is what it is. So, here we go. But I'm gonna unfold it. And if there's any loose stuff, I'll trim it, but for the most part, I just throw them on in here. Now, if there's like a big fat cap, I'll take that off. But for the most part, they're usually pretty clean skirt steaks, and so I just throw them on in. Now, I always like to pick the beginning of the week to do my meal prep. One, because it's the beginning of the week, and two, it's just when I have my days off and it's easier for me to get it all done and spend the day figuring out what I still need, what I don't need, and then get it all put together and actually take time to do it right. So there we have all three of our steaks in there. And these are roughly about 1.25 pound size skirt steaks, so it ends up being almost 5 pounds of steak. And I'm gonna put on some new gloves because I will need to kind of get in there and work it in there, because once I close the bag, it doesn't mix very well, because there's a lot in here. And then for this marinade, I will put the full recipe in the description below for you guys, but it is a few tablespoons of minced garlic, about 1/4 cup of red wine vinegar, about a 1/2 cup of avocado oil, a teaspoon of cumin, a tablespoon of oregano leaves, a tablespoon of salt, and a tablespoon of black pepper, and then about 2 to 3 tablespoons of chili powder. And then recently, I've spiced it up with a little bit of lime juice. So we're gonna do about 2 tablespoons of lime juice. Okay, I'm really gonna get in there and try and kind of rotate these without making a mess. Getting pretty good at it now. Been doing this, I think I've been doing this one for 2 months, 2.5 months possibly. Not very long. But I really have enjoyed this one. And I've perfected it, and I really like this. The lime juice is a new one, and it helps really break down the steak a little bit more, adds a little bit more acidity to it, and just gives it a nice flavor. But there you go, we got them all mixed, and I'm gonna kind of press them down so that some of that juice kind of covers it a little bit more. But I'm gonna take my glovies off, kind of let a little bit of the air out before I seal it completely. Okay, then we're gonna let this sit in the fridge for at least an hour. I try and also go for about 2 hours. That's why I do it on my days off, because then I can let this sit a little bit longer. But now that we got this done, let's start on our potatoes. So I have here about 4 pounds of sweet potatoes. This is a 3-pound bag plus a couple extras. Sometimes I realize that I have a little bit of leftover. Sometimes I realize I'm a little short. I'm still playing that game, but for the most part, one bag usually gets me pretty close to throughout the week. That's why I grab another one, and I usually grab a couple extras. But I like to get a plastic throwaway Kroger bag and peel them into that. But we're gonna wash them first, and see, like this here, this is why I get an extra bag. They're all washed. I had to trim a couple of them, but let's get to peeling. All right, all that's done now. I threw in an extra potato because I had to get rid of quite a bit, and with how much I had to get rid of, because some of the ends were bad, I threw in an extra potato. But that helps with any leftovers. When I have my days off, I like to still eat sweet potatoes. It's just the protein changes from time to time, so I'm not buying so many steaks. But let's dice these. So sweet potatoes are kind of goofy shaped. Like this is not a straight potato. Okay. Do the best you can, but try and aim for about inch sized chunks. And then throw them back in your big mixing bowl, and then we'll add our spices and seasonings. And see, the thing is, I know what everybody's gonna say. Everybody's gonna say, oh Gabe, that looks like that takes too long. I don't know if I can do that. Honestly, when you know what the end result's gonna be, and it's something that you look forward to every day, it doesn't take that long. It's tedious, yes, and it's a process, yes. But at the end of the day, it's something that you know is going to taste good, and it's something that you're going to enjoy throughout the week. So it gives you something to look forward to, and it doesn't make it that difficult. And I know that's easier said than done, but once you get into the habit of doing it, it's not so bad. All right, so we have chopped all probably 4.5 pounds of sweet potatoes. Let's season them. Now you see why we use the big bowl. All right, so first up, minced garlic. You need to do probably, for this many potatoes, probably about 3 tablespoons of minced garlic is probably a safe bet. That's about a 1/4 cup of minced garlic. It's a lot of minced garlic, I know. All right, next, 2 teaspoons of cumin. Sounds like it's time to get more seasonings. 2 tablespoons to 3 tablespoons of oregano. And again, the full recipe for these potatoes will be in the description below as well. Okay, about 2 tablespoons of salt. Again, this is for a lot of potatoes. Yeah, this isn't for 1 potato. This is for 4.5 pounds of potatoes. It's a lot of potatoes. Okay, and then about 1 tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of black pepper. Okay, and then about 2 tablespoons of chili powder. All right, and then we're gonna go with a 1/4 cup of avocado oil, and this will be just enough to coat the potatoes. And then we're gonna give these a toss. And again, they're not soaking in oil, but they're just enough to give it a nice coating. Okay, beautifully coated. Now, I'm gonna have to split these between 2 pans. And I just use my spray and spray them just a little bit. Just a little light spray. Just a little. And then we're gonna spread these between the 2. And then I got my oven preheating to 425. And these need to go for about 1/2 hour to 35 minutes. Just until they're all tender. All right, so the sweet potatoes are done. Ain't these beauty? So I'm gonna let these guys cool, but let's get the steaks out and let's go fire up the grill. So the steaks are done. Here we have our steaks. So I'm gonna set these guys off to the side. They've been resting for about 5-ish minutes. I'm gonna let them rest just a little bit longer, but we're gonna go ahead and dish up everything else. And we're gonna start loading up our containers. So I have my little containers here. So I do my steak and potatoes in the big ones, and then I do my veggies in the small compartment of the container. But I got my food scale here. Just get a cheap one from Walmart. It's not the end of the world. You don't need the high scale ones. If you really want the high scale ones, go for it. It's all you. But this works just as well, and it's fine. And if you want to get butthurt about it, the only bad thing is whenever there's extra moisture or whatever pieces of things in here, it's very sensitive to that. So you have to do a lot of resetting it, or it's called tearing, T-A-R-E. which is basically zeroing out the scale. So I do about 120 grams of broccoli, and that's about a serving and a half of broccoli. And I let it thaw a little bit because it fits in the containers easier. And I'm just gonna show you guys this one container, but then I would do it to the other 9 or 10 that I have. All right, so now I'm gonna do 4.5 ounces of my sweet potatoes. If I'm ever doing protein pasta, then I'll stick to the 4 ounces. But with sweet potatoes, since it's more of a vegetable than anything else, do 4.5. All right, and now for the fun part, the steak. I'm gonna start cutting this at an angle. Now I cook it to about medium rare because then it's gonna get reheated, and so I don't want it to be tough and nasty and gross. So I cook it a little under just to help it out. But this, I have recently upped it to 7 ounces. I'm working my way up towards 8, which is 2 servings of protein, technically, because most servings are 4 ounces. And I get rid of any chunks of fat because I don't necessarily want those in there. Slice those, and I'll cut these big pieces in half, but then I'll change my scale over to ounces and weigh out 7 ounces. All right, and there you have probably the greatest meal prep I've ever made. Like, this is just, I hope I don't ever get sick of this. Like, I really don't. I don't want to, and it's something I look forward to every day. But there you have it, grilled skirt steak, roasted sweet potatoes, and some broccoli. Well guys, there you have it, a wonderful meal prep idea. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And again, if you guys are new, make sure you share this with a friend or family member. Make sure you hit that sub button too. Throw a comment down below, tell me what you guys think. But as always, peace out, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!